There's a sweet garden spot in our memory. It's the place we were born and reared. 'Twas long years ago since we left it, but I thought that we will if we're spared. Our friends and companions of childhood would assemble each night near a score, round Dan Murphy's shop, and how often we sat on the stone outside Dan Murphy's door.
Right, bye.
Bye. Wait,
Going away, bye-bye. Going away, bye-bye.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Welcome to Berlin.
Oh, thank you very much.
How are you?
Oh, the best. Yeah, no,
Was ist das denn? Nummer 5 vielleicht?
I don't know, very good actually.
All ready? Is Bonnie there?
Yeah.
You're going, Bonnie?
One's on.
Dankeschön.
Wo ist denn der Saal?
Wir haben die Ebene, hier gleich, Ebene 1.
Hey.
Guten Abend, meine Damen und Herren. Will you please welcome the Dubliners?
Guten Abend. Oh, let the grasses grow and the waters flow in a free and easy way. But give me enough of the rare old stuff that's made the Galway Bay. Come gougers all from Donegal, Sligo and late from two. And we'll give them the slip and we'll take the slip for the rain of the skiddy and a little skiddy and a little skiddy and a little day. Skiddy and a little skiddy and a little skiddy and a little day. There's an eight little still at the foot of the hill where the smoke curled up to the sky. Be a whip of the smell you can name it till there's budgie boys close by. For it fills the air with a perfume rain between both me and you. And smoky rowl we'll drink the bow and a bucket full of mountain dew. Skiddy and a little skiddy and a little skiddy and a little day. Skiddy and a little skiddy and a little skiddy and a little day. Now the learned men, as you use the pen, have written the praises high. And the rare poteen from Ireland green, the slip from Wales and Rye. So away with your pills, it'll cure all ills, be a pagan Christian or Jew. So go down the throat, raise your throat, with a bucket full of mountain dew. Skiddy and a little skiddy and a little skiddy and a little day. Skiddy and a little skiddy and a little skiddy and a little day. And the grasses grow and the waters flow in a free and easy way. But give me enough of the rare old stuff that's made me Galway Bay. Come gougers all from Donegal, Sligo and they took two. And we give them the strip and we'll take the slip for the rain of a mountain dew. Skiddy and a little dum, skiddy and a little dum, skiddy and a little dum day. Skiddy and a little dum, skiddy and a little dum, skiddy and a little dum day. Skiddy and a little dum, skiddy and a little dum, skiddy and a little dum day. Skiddy and a little dum, skiddy and a little dum, skiddy and a little dum day.
Ronnie Drew.
What's the news, what's the news, oh me bow shall me lear, with your long-barreled gun out to sea? Say what wind from the south brings a messenger here, with the hymn of the dawn for the free. Goodly news do I bring you to fore, goodly news will ye hear, baggy man? For the boys march at morn from the south to the north, led by Kelly, the boy from Canaan. Tell me who is that giant with the gold curling hair, he who rides at the head of your band? 7 feet is his height, with some inches to spare, and he looks like a king in command. Oh, me boys, that's the pride of our bow Shelmiliers, amongst our greatest of heroes a man. Sing your beavers enough and give 3 ringing cheers for John Kelly, the boy from Callan. And as stars stays in flames, old Wexford is won, and tomorrow the barrow will cross. On the hill or the town we have planted a gun that will batter the gateway to Ross. All the fourth-men and baggymen will ride o'er the heath with brave Harvey to lead in the van. But the bravest of all in that grim gap of death will be Kelly, the boy from Callan. But the gold sun of freedom grew darkened at Ross, and it set by the Slaney's red wave. And all Wexford, stiff naked, hung high on a cross, with our heart pierced by traitors and knaves. Glory, oh, to the bound men who died for the cause of long downtrodden man. Glory, oh, to Mount Leinster's own darling and pride, Doctor's Kelly, the boy from Callan.
yeah, just hold on. I must.
Another one bites the dust. Hey, another one bites the dust.
The mic is in there anyway.
Thanks very much for coming. Please. Please on next year.
I listen to a lot of Bach nowadays and a lot of Baroque music, and it's just amazing stuff to listen to. And when you the whole structure is so perfect, you know, that you couldn't pick out any one bar and say I think I could improve on that, you know.
Anyway, I wrote this little piece about a year ago, and a friend of ours called Klaus from Hanover, he suggested the title. And we're calling it Among Friends, so hope you like this new piece. Unter Freunden, is that what you'd call it? Something like that, yeah. Yeah, it's okay, I think. Here we go. Thank you.
It's probably about 40 years ago, my sister Mary went on a holiday to Innsbruck, the other side of the Alps here. And she brought me back a record of some Austrian and Bavarian folk music. And I really liked this music when I heard it, and I got this is 40 years ago now, and I got out my tin whistle, and I learnt a few of these tunes. So maybe I'd play a little bit of one of these, and then maybe play a bit of an Irish reel after that, just to make a contrast. Yeah? Okay, fertig?
Fertig.
So I'm bringing it back 40 years later, where it came from. Here's the Irish one now. Okay.
to this country a stranger I came. I placed my affections in a comely young dame. She being fair and tender, her waist small and slender, false nature had formed her for my overthrow. Little songs like that. That's a song which is based on a hymn sung in church. I think it's called The Lord of All Hopefulness. When I came from England, we hitchhiked per Anhalter from England all down through Germany. And we stayed here in Cologne at a youth hostel on the banks of the Rhine here. And the next morning, it was a Saturday night, the next morning, Sunday morning, we were woken up by the warden, who was singing with a guitar accompaniment in the corridor, and he was singing Lobe den Herren, and it sounded so wonderful, such a beautiful melody, and it was amplified in the corridor. So that's when I decided I was going to buy a guitar and try to sing myself. That was the inspiration at that moment. Looks like somebody heard this song before. But if you haven't heard it before, then tonight will be the first time. And I might better introduce it to you. It's about a man called Paddy, like I said, and Paddy had einen Unfall auf einer Baustelle where he was working. And in diesem accident, he is very badly verletzt. And because of the injuries, he cannot go to work am anderen Tag. So he sends eine Ausrede to his Arbeitsgeber, indem erklärt the reason for his Abwesenheit at work. That's what it's about. And the letter begins, Dear Sir, like this. Dear Sir, I write this note to you to tell you of me plight. And at the time of writing, I am not a pretty sight. Me body is all black and blue, me face a deathly grey. And I write this note to say, why Paddy's not at work today. While working on the 14th floor, some bricks I had to clear. Now to throw them down from such a height, it was not a good idea. The foreman wasn't very pleased, he being an awkward sod. He said I'd have to take them down the ladders in me hod. Now, clearing all these bricks by hand, it was so very slow. So I hoisted up a barrel and secured the rope below. But in me haste to do the job, I was too blind to see that a barrel full of building bricks was heavier than me. So, when I untied the rope, the barrel fell like lead, and clinging tightly to the rope, I started up instead. Well, I shot up like a rocket, till to my dismay I found that halfway up, I met the bloody barrel coming down. Well, the barrel broke me shoulder, as to the ground it sped, and when I reached the top, I banged the pulley with me head. Well, I clung on tight, though numbed with shock from this almighty blow, and the barrel spilled out half the bricks 14 floors below. Now, when these bricks had fallen from the barrel to the floor, I then outweighed the barrel, and so started down once more. Still clinging tightly to the rope, I sped towards the ground, and I landed on the broken bricks that were all scattered round. Well, I lay there groaning on the ground. I thought I'd passed the worst, when the barrel hit the pulley wheel, and then the bottom burst. Well, a shower of bricks rained down on me. I hadn't got a hope. As I lay there moaning on the ground, I let go the bloody rope. The barrel then being heavier, it started down once more, and landed right across me as I lay upon the floor. Well, it broke 3 ribs and my left arm, and I can only say that I hope you understand why Paddy's not at work today.
Sean he's a bit more serious, I suppose, than some of the others. A bit too serious at times, I think. But when he tackles the subject, like he's very good at languages now, for example. He speaks very good German and French and Spanish.
Das ist dann richtig schwierig.
Ja, ja.
On Monday, but I am a free man on Sunday.
Can I go in there? Can I go in there?
First time in my life that I ever have
The
been
coal mine.
in a coal mine, you know.
And you know, do you remember I was saying to you earlier on about Paddy Mulvaney?
Yeah.
Paddy's started all this. You know.
This is amazing. As an Irishman,
Yeah.
you know this.
Well, I started off life as a guitar player. Then I thought there was more to life than guitar playing. And I decided I'd become a session musician. So if you wanted a record made, you might ask me to play on it. And then I was asked to be the musical director on a TV series, which I did. And then people started ringing me up saying, would you produce a record? And I write music and I read music and, you know, I think. So it's purely by accident.
Yeah, there's a serious side to Eamon, and on the outside, I suppose, he seems a bit of a clown, and he's full of fun, and he's moving around and jigging around to the music and watching the audience. And But there's quite a serious side to him at the back of it all. You know, he's a very good arranger now for other people's recordings and that kind of thing. And it's no problem to him to do a whole score and arrangement orchestrally and so on. And to look at him and talk to him, you think he didn't have any of this kind of talent there. But it's, as I say to him, sometimes the head is not only, there's no wool on the inside, it's all on the outside, you know.
John and Barney, probably we just became friends because they hadn't heard this kind of, you know, and they were intrigued with this, and I was intrigued with Irish music, even though I was Irish. But any Irish music I had heard prior to that was scheisse, you know. When I heard these guys playing that, you know, and they used to stay up waiting for me to come back, and we would get a case of beer. And John didn't drink in those days, and John would have 6 bottles of Coke, and me and Barney would have a case of beer, and we'd sit up all night. They'd be showing me tunes, and I'd be showing them like things like.
Just a slight hair's breadth of voice. Just
okay, yeah.
Very hair's breadth.
You get it.
Yeah. I think it's yours. Yeah.
Gesehen?
Okay. Aber kleiner.
From the dumps.
So one is of the Pope, one is of Luke Kelly,
Salt
one is of Stone Kelly.
set the night on fire. White ring of the smoky air. Get dirty old town. Dirty old town.
Der Mai ist gekommen, die Bäume schlagen aus. Leibe, wer Lust hat, mit seinem Gast zu Haus. Die Wolken dort wandern am himmlischen See. Da steht mir auf der Sehne die weite, weite Welt. Temporary, it was a poor old hair and blood. They began to build an happy place to land. Till in the end of life, some always was the way of life. Always been the down the rain, the sun, the rain, the rain, remember now that I'm here rolling all the way to Dublin, whack what I got.
heute ist der Geburtstag from Eamon and Sean. Die beiden hier. So wir singen Happy Birthday.
No luggage, man. No luggage.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about some. Are you talking about yesterday or the day before?
It's the 6th of 11th and the 7th.
We spent 2 days here.
He was stranded in some tiny town on fair Prince Edward Island, waiting for his ship to come and find him. A one-horse place, a friendly face, some coffee and a tiny trace, fiddling in the distance far behind him. Dime across the counter then, a shy hello, a brand new friend, walking on the street in the wintry weather. A yellow light and an open door, no welcome friend and room for more. Soon they're standing there inside together. Then I heard a tune before somewhere, but I can't remember when. Was it on some other friendly shore? Did I hear it on the wind? Was it written on the sky above? I think I heard it from someone I love. Never heard it sound so sweet since then. Says I'll take your hat, he's caught up in the magic of his smile. Then leaps the heart inside him, running off across the floor. He sent his stumbly body graceful as a child. And there's magic in the fiddler's arm, and there's magic in this town. Magic in the dancers' feet and the way they put them down. Smiling people everywhere, boots and ribbons and locks of hair, laughter and old blue suit and Easter gown. Sailor gone the room and bare, the old piano's sitting there, someone that's left hanging on the rack. Some empty chairs, a wooden floor that feels the touch of shoes no more, waiting for the dancers to come back. And the fiddle in the dozen of some daughter of the town, strings are broken, the bow is gone, and the case is put down. But often on December nights, when the air is cold and the wind is right, a melody comes passing through this town.
Portugal Bremen. Oh kitty, come over the water, oh kitty, come over the lea. Kitty, come over the water and lay your white head on me knee. Well, I have a little house on the mountainside, an iron gate in its style, and everything fitting for kitty, and a cradle for rocking the child. Yam diddly doodle and the doodle the doodle and the doodle and the dee. Diddly idle doodle and the dum diddly doodle and the doodle diddly lam a doodle and the doodle and the diddly idle doodle laddy dum diddly idle doodle laddy dum diddle doodle idle diddly idle dum diddly idle doodle lam a diddly idle doodle lam a diddly idle. I was brought up with the two traditions really, you know. So as they call it, the 3 B's, Barney and the boat. Another B, and the banjo, another B. So.
just a natural. He's a unique character, Bernie. He's a natural musician. He doesn't read any music, but he just feels it. And I think when he gives a performance, he really gets into the music, and people can really feel this. You know, he really communicates with people when he's playing. It's not just Barney here and the audience there. The two are somehow interconnected. When Barney gets on the banjo, you know, he just makes it talk and sing and cry and laugh. You know.
The banjo was kind of it was unusual. There were little mandolin banjos, so I liked the tone of the tenor banjo. And I used to play a 5-string banjo at that time, a little 5-string banjo. And there was a man called Eddie Tobin, because there was no used to play on the radio. There was no televisions in Ireland at that time. So Barney kind of liked the tone of the banjo. So I adapted I got the tenor banjo then, which was for about £6.
Luke Kelly said years ago, Jesus, if Barney wasn't here, we would have had to invent him. I mean, that sums up Barney, you know.
Well, Barney is a special person, really. Barney is so extremely talented, and when he gets into form, is really amazing player, and he's very popular with the audience, and he's good fun. Barney's good fun. He's humorous, and he's very laid back, and takes life easy.
Sládja agus saoil agat.
Here at the corner, we need to put
Also,
Oh, it was a great tour this year.
Good diet.
Ja, das wieder drin. Schön drin lassen. Schön drin lassen.
Night and day, Jacobs. Night and day, you are the one.
Oh, for Ronnie.
Oh, Ronnie.
Geschenk for Ronnie. Weihnachtsgeschenk.
Thank you very much.
Last year you said you like Jägermeister.
This year, you've got to prove it.
And of course I'm from Wolfenbüttel, where the Jägermeister is distilled.
See these pictures? 9 years ago. That's my son, 2 sons. It's Pam and the 2 boys.
When you come in.
Tim Finnegan lived in Walking Street, a gentleman Irish mighty odd. He had a brogue both rich and sweet, and to rise in the world he carried a hod. But Tim went a bit of a tibbler's way, with a love of the liquor he was born, and to send them on his way each day to top of the crater every morn. Wakeful of that, would you dance to your partner and down the floor with your sort of shake? Isn't it the truth? I tell you, lots of fun at Finnegan's Wake. How would you know one game one? Hey. There we are.
I saw you crying in the morning light, when lying where the falcons lie, they twist and turn all in your every sky. When living on your western shore, saw the summer sunset, I asked no more. I stood by your Atlantic sea and sang a song for our land.
Wenn du abstellst, wartest du extra. Ja.
Jetzt kommen wir ans
Richtig.
And I took an interest in Spanish music first, and eventually I got interested in Irish music. It was an eventual process. And I suppose the first one I heard singing Irish music was Dominic Bean. And that got my imagination, and I liked his singing very much. And I became a good friend of his afterwards. All the violets were scenting the woods, Nora displaying their charms to the bee. When I first said I loved only you, Nora, and you said you loved only me. The chestnut blooms leaned through the glade. Nora, a robin sang loud from a tree. When I first said I loved only you, Nora, and you said you loved only me. Oh, the golden robed daffodils shone, Nora, and danced in the breeze underneath. When I first said I loved only you, Nora, and you said you loved only me. The trees, birds and bees sang a song, Nora, of happier transport to be. When I first said I loved only you, Nora, and you said you loved only me. Our dreams, they have never come true, Nora. Our hopes, they were never to be. Since I first said I loved only you, Nora, and you said you loved only me. Since I first said I loved only you, Nora, and you said you loved only me.
Ronnie Drew.
Well, Ronnie is the well-recognised leader of the group. After all, the group was called the Ronnie Drew Group to begin with, the Ronnie Drew Group. So Ronnie is the father figure, definitely.
It's very hard to judge Ronnie. He's between the jigs. The way I put it, he's between the jigs and the reels. Right? Ronnie he's very impulsive kind of a man. Well, that's his nature, you can't help that. And he'd bite you one minute and you say, oh, and then go, oh, be all right. Also a heart of mellow, or not mellow, what do you call it, of honey.
He's the one with the identifiable voice that was there right from the beginning. It's been described like various things, like Coke being crushed under a door, and
what is that?
Coke being crushed under a door. You know, like coal that's burnt, and this low, deep, growling kind of a voice. But yeah, he has this kind of father figure image, I suppose. Not just because he's the oldest of the group, but he was the first of the group to appear on a professional stage.
I, in fact, didn't like the responsibility of it being called the Ronnie Drew Group, because then if anything went wrong, it was the Ronnie Drew Group. And the group worked on a very democratic basis anyway. There wasn't anybody to tell anybody. Nobody could tell anybody what to do. Everybody did their own thing. It just happened to come together. So Luke happened,
Lord of mercy on him, Luke Kelly happened to be reading James Joyce's book of short stories called The Dubliners. And he said, why not call it The Dubliners? So we did, and it was all like that, just like that.
Was in the merry month of June, from me home as I had left the gables of June, sad and broken, and it shook and be father dear. Kiss me, darling, mother drank a pint of beer, tears and grief, as mother then out to reap the corn, reap where I was born, and cut us out black horns of Spanish gold, hopping in a new pair of brogues, rattling over the bogs, frightening all the dogs of the rocky road, Dublin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, from the hair and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, Wack-a-lally-da. In Mullingar night, the restless limbs are weary, started by daylight, with spirits bright and airy, took a drop of the pure to keep me spirits from sinking, that's the Paddy's cure. Whenever he's Dublin, we're thinking to see the lads a smile, laughing all the while, after me curious time, and set their heart to bubble and asked if I was hired, wages I required till I was almost out of the rocky road, to Dublin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, Wack-a-lally-da. In Dublin next to ride, I thought it was a pity to be so 70 bride of you know that fancy people. Then I took a stroll all among the quality bundle it was told. I had a need of vanity, something crossed me mind, and I looked behind the wonderful to find upon me stick a wobbling and firing after the road, said we can't road, wasn't much in book on a rocky road, to Dublin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, Wack-a-lally-da. I soon got over that, me spirits had never failed, and I handed down the cages as the ship was sailing. Captain Mantley roared for the door of Paddy, when I jumped aboard a cabin bound for Paddy. Down among the pigs, played some rummy rigs, danced some hacky jigs, the water round me bubbled, and when I finally had wished myself was dead, there but I fell instead on the rocky road, to Dublin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and turn her down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, Wack-a-lally-da. The boys of Liverpool, oh, when we safely landed, called myself a fool, I could not understand it, but it began to boil. Tempting rivals, there was a river all every oil, they began abusing her army boys with I, shillelagh and fly, all with boys were by and saw, was some trouble in with the low and the rain, join me in the affray, quickly clear the way for the rocky road, to Dublin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, hunt the hare and thunder down the rocky road, and all the way to Dublin, Wack-a-lally-da.
John Malloy, whom we were working for, he lived near O'Donoghue's pub. And O'Donoghue's pub was a very, very quiet pub, which civil servants used to go in and get a quick one when they would have a break, you know, just quick little, and hoping nobody would see them. And the house was very quiet, and Mrs. Donoghue and Mr. Donoghue were very, very nice people, but very respectable. And so Barney and I used to go there to meet John Malloy, this man, and he would pay us for our week. And then we got to going in there regularly. And one time we asked, could we play a tune? And they said, oh yeah, but you know, you got to keep it down, you know, it's because this and that, and the police and the neighbours and all. So we played and we sang. And ever since, Donoghue's pub is full of people, you know. But that was the beginning.
You had Ronnie and Luke and Kieran and Barney. They were the original four in the group. And Luke became kind of restless after only a year of the group being together. And he went over to England. He wanted to do some research and learn new songs and go around the English folk clubs and meet Ewan McCall and people like that. And this left a huge gap, of course, in the group. And they had been doing a weekly gig out in the Royal Hotel in Howth in County Dublin every Saturday night. And of course, with Luke missing then, they needed somebody to fill up the night a little bit. And I'd been playing with another guy called Bob Lynch, who's dead now, the Lord have mercy on him. But Bob and myself had been doing gigs together around Dublin, and they heard about us, and Ronnie rang me one day and he said, could you come over and play during the porter break, as they used to call the interval, the porter break. And so Bob and myself did that for a couple of Saturday nights, and everything went fine. And then rather than going home after our spot, we'd stay on and play on the second half, just busk along with the lads. And people started saying, God, I like the sound of the new group, you know, the two new fellas are fitting in well. Not realising that we were only, you know, just staying on for the fun. And then other gigs came along, and Ronnie said, are you free next Friday to do such a gig, you know? And I said, yeah, that's okay. And it just went on like that, it just evolved out of that. There was never a formal invitation to join the group as such, you know.
I met my love by the gasworks croft. Dreamed the dream by the old canal. I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Dirty old town, dirty old town.
And then I was invited to sing with the Dubliners when Luke Kelly was unwell. Luke, as you know, had a brain tumour which caused his death in the end. So, but we travelled around together for a while. Luke, in the spring of 1983, underwent an operation to remove the pressure on his brain from the tumour, and he was in good form throughout the summer, but he declined very quickly again, unfortunately, towards the autumn. But we travelled together. That was a wonderful experience to travel with Luke Kelly, and quite a magical singer.
I mean, Luke had an extraordinarily good voice, and he could deliver the song with great passion and great integrity, and he was a man full of integrity and did an awful lot of good that people didn't know about. And he and I got on very well, except in matters of politics we agreed to disagree, but generally speaking we believed in the same things, only going on slightly different tacks.
Luke was a great man, if you like, for the workers, you know, for the ordinary person, you know. And he wasn't one of these people that kind of came out, you know, making big statements. But his whole life, he devoted kind of to doing a lot of kindness for people that most people didn't know about. And being here, like this would have been, I know it's funny saying this, we're down in the earth, but this would have been like heaven for Luke, because it's about people, you know, workers. It's a hard job down in coal mines.
He was a very open character, and he was quite an athletic man, and he had this quite rough-looking exterior, you know, and he was a tough man physically, because his father before him, and they were great footballers in the family, and he was quite a fit fella. From the North Wall, he worked down the docks as a younger man, you know. His father worked in Jacobs biscuit factory in Dublin. But behind all the rough exterior and you know, the rough, wild-looking man, the big head of red, bushy hair, you know, and behind all that, he was he had a heart. Really, his heart was a heart of honey. You know, he's very soft. He's very gentle.
I suppose you could say, if you say that Ronnie was the father figure, Luke was the soul of the Dubliners, I suppose, and he was the interpreter of songs in a unique kind of a way. Luke had this kind of ability. He could take any song, not even a great song, and somehow the way he interpreted it and the way he delivered it and the way his timing and his phrasing, he just made a great song out of a simple thing, you know. He was a natural kind of a poet in a way, I suppose.
Had I met my love by the gasworks wall, dreamed a dream by the old canal, I kissed my girl by the factory wall. Yeah, dirty old town. Ah, dirty old town. Yeah, dirty old town.
It's a dirty old town. That was for Luke. Not a mission.
Niet len om voor me lachen na geon, na vullen geven schoon. Niet veel na maken zeer, maar ik wil ook eens keer dan sloon.
Barney and Luke and Kieran were being driven to a gig in Ireland, and there was in a Mercedes actually, and it went over the side into a wood and turned on its roof, and everybody was scrambling to get out, and all Kieran Burke was looking for was, where's the bottle of whiskey?
Kieran had a different kind of a talent. He had a talent where he filled in a lot of the background sound because he played guitar and he sang. He wasn't a great singer, but he put a good feeling into a song, and he sang in Gaelic as well. He played the harmonica and he played the tin whistle. So he contributed a lot of things in small areas. So he didn't make the same big impression, I suppose, that Luke made, but nevertheless he was a very important kind of filler-in man, I would call him, you know.
Well, Kieran was a man who was steeped in the Irish tradition. I mean, he spoke very fluent Gaelic, and he was interested in all Irish literature, Irish mythology, everything to do with Ireland. He was a very knowledgeable man. while I love Irish traditional music, I'm also interested in every other music, and I find musicians, generally speaking, no matter what the medium, whether it's jazz or they usually have a broad taste in music, and I have a very broad taste in music, and I like to hear other stuff. And I know that the people the Dubliners are attracting to concerts are not necessarily folk, dyed-in-the-wool folk fans. Okay, they like some folk music, but they also come for entertainment.
But we sing things like Dicey Riding, which are a bit of fun, and the music that we play, you know, John and Barney and myself, that's really happy. And so it's not, strictly speaking, Irish music. I mean, Irish music is popular, right? But to me, as the newest member of the group, it's the Dubliners that are popular. And I think it's because the way everybody looks, and we look a bit wild. And
we were one of the first groups to come here, the first groups from Ireland to come here. And I don't know, I think the fact that the music is real and wasn't revived and so on may have something to do with it. I'm not terribly sure. It's like a mystery to me. I don't really understand it. But I say thank God for it.
A song about a famous Dublin lady of the evening, a lady of the night. Well, if you were in Hamburg, she'd be lady of the Reeperbahn, but in Dublin we only had a kleiner Reeperbahn. We only had one such lady, and she was very famous.
Very busy.
Very busy. Well, in this song now we have a chorus, and in the chorus, Alice Huzaman out there and up there and everywhere. Alice Huzaman clutching the hands like that, see? Not yet. Huzaman, but not yet, you know what I mean? Alla fertig, as John says. Alla fertig.
Yeah.
Good. Oh, poor old Dicey Riding. Very sad, very sad. Eine mal kleine Probe, right? Now. Oh, poor old Dicey Riley, she had taken. Okay, very good. We'll allow you to join in. And I will tell you when to come in. See? Don't come in before and I will tell you, I will do this. I won't have this, but I'll do that. You know, see, without this, do that. And then you come in, touching the hand. Right? Here we go. Oh, poor old Dicey Riley, she had taken to the sup. Oh, poor old Dicey Riley, she will never give it up. Her it's off each morning to the pub, and then she's in for another little drop. And the heart of the owl with Dicey Riley. Oh, poor old Dicey Riley, she will take it to the sun. Poor old Dicey Riley, she will never give it up. It's off each morning to the pub, and then she's in for another little drop. And the heart of the owl with Dicey Riley.
Oh, but time went catching up with her, like many pretty whores. And it's after you along the street, before you're out the doors. Their looks all fade and the balance weighed, but out of all that great brigade, still the heart of the owl was Dicey Riley. Much a poor old Dicey Riley, she is taken to the sup. Poor old Dicey Riley, she will never give it up. For it's off each morning to the pub, And then she's in for another little drop of the heart of the rowel was Dicey Riley. I'll say that one.
I don't know, every performance is a new experience really with a new audience, you know, and as well as that, I think it's partly the way we approach the music. We don't have any strict arrangements instrumentally, and every time, for example, you might wonder about the songs like The Wild Rover and the Black Velvet Band we must have played for thousands of times, you know. Each I never play it exactly the same way. That's from my point of view. I never play exactly the same arrangement on the fiddle. It's a little bit like jazz, I suppose, where you improvise each time, and that keeps a kind of a freshness in the performance, you know.
The Dubliners, when we started, I mean, after 7 Drunken Nights, it was like a party that went on for about 15 years. But the party had to end sometime, and so the party is still going on to an extent, but a little bit. I mean, years and one thing and another. People, I mean, in those early days we didn't have families, we didn't care, you know. But now everybody has families and married and children, and I've even got grandchildren. So
once again, thank you. Hope to see you all again, and good night from Barney McKenna. Sean Cannon, John Sheehan, Eamon Campbell.
There's Arden Olsen, Daddy Nish vergessen, Ronnie Drew. Oh, Daddy.
I've been a wild rover for many a year, and I spent all my money on whiskey and beer. Oh, but now I'm returning with golden great store, and I never will play the wild rover no more. And it's no, nay, never, no, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. I went into an alehouse I used to frequent, and I told the landlady my money was spent. I asked her for credit, the answer was nay. Such a custom as yours I can get any day, and it's no, nay, never, no, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. I took out of my pocket 10 sovereigns bright, and the landlady's eyes open wide with delight. She said, I have whiskey and wine of the best, and the words that you told me were only in jest. And it's no, nay, never, no, nay, never, no more will I play the wild rover. No, never, no more. I go home to me parents, confess what I've done, and I'll ask them to pardon their prodigal
Cheers, Barney.
Yes, wait. There. Thank you.
Here you go.
That's Catherine. Are you Catherine, are you?
Katrin, ja.
There you, Catherine. You're good.
Katrin was
Did you-
here. So
Yeah? Did you like the concert? Yeah?
We've put this in the cases.
Gillick. Thank you.
Go down the scooter here.
Okay.
yes. Yes.
The Dubliners are leaving us now, going back to Ireland, and we're full of woe. And even though there's tears in our eyes now and then, we're glad that we'll meet
Oh, Roshedaba, Hawalya. Oh, Roshedaba, Hawalya. Oh, Roshedaba, Hawalya. And the shadow hopped on towering. Shedaba, Haban, Balin, was the bay or grash to be in Vingal, New Hebra, Self Melloch. To deal the Lashna Olive. Oh, Roshinaba, Hawalya. Oh, Roshinaba, Hawalya. Oh, Roshinaba, Hawalya. And Michelle Hutton Towley. Agran, you will a trill hard soilya. Ogling arm, Halley, Mulharda. Gaelic finish, the goal, not Spanish. The skull feet, Royker, Olive. Oh, Roshedaba, Hawalya. Oh, Roshedaba, Hawalya. Oh, Roshedaba, Hawalya. And Michelle Hopton Towley. Have we the rain of Atco Vecchim, Pain of Bio and the Eagle shot him, Ron you well goes me Lagoshuk, a forgot final Howlive. Oh, Roshedaba, Hawalya. Oh, Roshedaba, Hawalya. Oh.